Hello and welcome to another unboxing. I've actually done quite a lot of unboxings recently, but I'm done with sort of buying a new product, so this will be my last unboxing video for quite some time. In this particular case, I'm actually going to be unboxing the new RTX 5060 Ti, which I do have another NVIDIA graphics card, but I'm actually considering downgrading from that to this one because I think my current graphics card is a bit overkill. So I just wanted to sort of in this video unbox this particular one, which is from Zotac, and actually show you exactly what you get in the box and everything else, and talk about how you can power it and all that. So obviously, yeah, this is just very well packaged. I'm just going to open it up and then we can crack on with the unboxing. Okay, got there in the end. So this is the new Zotac GeForce RTX 5060 Ti. Comes with a 5-year warranty here in the UK once you actually register it, and it comes with 16 gigabytes of GDDR7 RAM or VRAM, which runs at a 128-bit memory bus. So not exactly the fastest, but actually this is more of the entry-level, 50 series card that you're going to get, apart from just the 5060, of course. Zotac themselves are a fairly good manufacturer. They're certainly not the best, but they're also not the worst. They're a fairly good mid-range manufacturer. But to be honest, getting a card like this, which is the MSRP card, I paid £399 here in the UK. Getting a card like this, whether it's from Zotac or the MSI Ventus or whatever, this is going to be good enough, and you can still overclock it and everything else. But this is more of an unboxing. I'm not going to get into performance stuff too much. So that was the front. This is the side. It's quite a nice looking box actually. I do quite like it, and here you can see all of the different features. It's talking of, the Ice Storm 2.0 advanced GPU cooling. Basically just means it's got fans, nothing too fancy. Freeze basically means when the GPU is idle, the fans are going to stop running, which again is a normal feature. You're going to get that with everything. And then it's talking about, all the other features, but also Firestorm, which is the Zotac utility for actually looking at the performance data for the graphics card and tuning it a little bit and things like that. And then you've got all the other features, and these are fairly common. They just talk about the Blackwell architecture and things like that, and multi-frame generation, which you're going to get with any 50 series of card, and obviously DLSS 4 you can get with the 30 series and earlier as well. But certainly multi-frame generation and Blackwell architecture, that's actually unique to the 50 series. And that's pretty much it for the box. Obviously this is unopened, so I'm just going to open up now. So that just slides out. Yes, just about. And then you've got the inner box. So Zotac Gaming, more simpler, just a nice design, very simple there. Zotac Gaming, and then we can actually open things up. So you're just going to pull that up. The tabs there. And then there we have it. To gaming and beyond. And I'll open that up in a minute. I'll actually show you what's in there. But that is a completely empty slot there. There's nothing in there. And then you actually get your graphics card. And that is it. There is absolutely nothing else. And that's it. Just going to be a manual and things like that. And also some stickers. Look at that. Live to game. Was it a sticker? No, it's a little robot thing, isn't it? Yeah, there we are. It's showing you how you can actually stand it up. So it comes with a little stand if you really want to do that. There we are, isn't that lovely? It's got a little stand there. That's about it, really. And then you got the manual and everything else. So in this particular box, I think because I've got the entry-level one, it doesn't come with an adapter or anything else, which is fine because, as we'll look at in a minute, this is actually an 8-pin power card, so it doesn't need to come with a squid adapter. It also doesn't come, from the look of it, with an anti-sag bracket, and I don't think you'll need it as long as it's securely, mounted on your case. I don't think you're actually going to need that, and the reason for that is this is a small and sleek card. Even mounted like that, it's not going to droop down. This is substantially lighter than, some of my other graphics cards, and that's probably why it doesn't come with an anti-sag bracket. And also it's got this metal reinforcement too. So we're going to look at the card in just a sec, but I want to just flip through these manuals in case there was anything interesting in them. I don't think there will be really. So product registration, okay, that's needed. So make sure, especially if you are in the UK or a country where you get an extended warranty, make sure you're actually registered to get that extra 2-year warranty. So you always get a 3-year warranty and then 2 years more with registration. So that is worth doing. And there's just some information here about their socials and everything else, more marketing than anything else. And then you get this booklet, more you need to know. So how you connect it up, it's just showing you HDMI and DisplayPort. Obviously this card won't have DVI or VGA. It's got the 2 or 3 display ports, 1, 2, 3, 2.1s of course, and then HDMI, and that's it. And we'll look at that in a minute. Then this is just talking about product registration, Firestorm utility, warranty information, extended warranty. Obviously you might not get an extended warranty, it depends where you are in the world. But in this particular case, I bought this from the UK from an official retailer, so I can actually register it. And that's about it. So the actual manual itself doesn't go into much detail, you know, it's just talking how you install it and, you know, connect any PCI Express power cables you need, blah, 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 blah. But that's fairly easy. So now we can actually come to the card itself. And actually, I really like the sleek look of this. You know, you've got two fans coming in, blow-through design to actually cool things, and you're going to get air coming out of there. And then you're also going to get air coming out of there as well. So a fairly simple cooling design. In other words, some of the air that comes in here is going to be exhausted there. And generally as well, you know, air will be exhausted from there. And actually, I quite like the general design of this card. I mean, it looks really sleek. You know, I have a couple of other graphics cards, and actually, I do really like the look of this. You obviously got your PCI Express thing there. This is obviously an X16, you know, connector, but the actual card itself just runs at X8. So PCI Express Gen 5 X8, but actually that supplies the same level of bandwidth as PCI Express Gen 4 X16. So in other words, if you put in this in, you know, a PCI Express Gen 5 motherboard, you're actually going to get fairly good performance anyway out of this, you know, comparable to the last gen of motherboards and PCI Express and everything else. Obviously, if you do put this card then in a Gen 4 motherboard, it will run at Gen 4 X8, but actually, you know, this is more of a mid-level card, and as a result, you know, running at Gen 4 X8 is also going to be fine. It's not like you're going to have massive performance, you know, hits or anything else, but certainly if your motherboard supports Gen 5, then that's going to be a bonus. But that's the front of the card. That's the side of the card. Obviously, make sure you take all the plastic off because there's just that, you know, extra bit of cooling there, and you can see all the heatsink fins and stuff there. This is then the top, and you've got your power connector there. It's not 12 volt power. It's just standard 8-pin. In other words, you could come along and you can get a standard 8-pin PCI Express cable like you would use with AMD or Intel graphics cards and plug that in there. So this is a standard 6+2 end. I would just connect both bits together and then connect it in, and you don't need any 12 volt power or anything like that. Obviously, if it did have 12 volt power, you know, I don't think this card would have a risk of melting because it's not very high power, often consuming like 150 or 160 watts. But if you were concerned about the melting stories of the 12 volt power connector, then this will, you know, help in that sense. And actually what's nice is you've got this little cutout design. You don't always get that. So when you're actually plugged in there with your cable, if I actually just plug it in, I'll just plug in some of the 6 pins. The nice thing with the cutout is you can actually, you know, hide the cables down the back. So if your computer, you know, the motherboard's going to be connected like that, you can actually probably run the cables behind a bit easier due to that cutout. So I quite like that. But obviously make sure you connect the, you know, the full 8 pins, not just the 6 pin. You know, I've left that bit off. But actually, yeah, you're not going to have any issues powering this. Any power supply unit will work completely fine. And it's not like you need to run out and get like an ATX 3.1 power supply unit. You know, 2.01 would be fine too. And then you've got your actual connectors. And as I mentioned, you've got 3 display ports. So they are going to be DisplayPort 2.1B. And then you've got a HDMI, which is going to be HDMI 2.1B. So they're both 2.1B basically. So, you know, it supports 3 display ports and 1 HDMI. And that's fairly good for connectivity, especially if your monitor, you know, has more display ports than HDMIs, then you can use that. But that's it really. That is the actual card. I think it looks really nice and sleek. I'm quite happy with it. But if you've got any other questions, then please drop me a comment and I'll get back to you. And other than that, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please click the thumbs up button and please subscribe to see more short videos and unboxings like this. Thank you.